We do a lot of work around advocacy in a way that we're empowering residents and letting them know you also can speak about this and this is how you can get there.
I feel like we're helping people not just within the small apartment community, but then how those people are affecting change in their broader community.
Is not just providing them with the opportunity to have a stable home. It's so much more, providing them the resources that they need to not just survive, but to thrive.
Welcome to the Shaping Freedom podcast, where we dive into conversations that inspire personal growth, transformation, and clarity in challenging times. I'm your host, Lisane Basquiat. Today's conversation is about home, but not just four walls and a roof. This is about dignity, stability, and the ability to shape a life with freedom and choice. I'm joined today by three powerful women, Alexis Rodriguez, Shannon Morrison, and Lakeysha Sowunmi, who are each playing a key role in transforming lives through their work at Community HousingWorks, a San Diego-based organization that has been creating affordable housing and supportive services for over 35 years. Their mission is more than buildings, though. It's about legacy. It's about disrupting cycles of poverty, supporting family systems, and restoring hope where housing insecurity has taken its toll. Whether they're working directly with residents, advocating for policy change, or designing community programs that support everything from financial literacy to wellness, these women are reimagining what home can be. This episode is for anyone who believes that where and how we live shapes who we become. It's for those of us who want to understand the real stories behind the housing crisis and the real solutions being built from the ground up. Alexis, Shannon, and Lakeysha, welcome to Shaping Freedom podcast. I really appreciate you being here. And I wanted to say that this is the first time that I've invited a nonprofit to have a conversation with me on this podcast. And I've chosen to do so because I know and have borne witness to the incredible work that the Community HousingWorks team is doing in San Diego and the few other places in the country where you're doing this work. And I thought that it would be something wonderful to share with the Shaping Freedom podcast listener community as a way of really bringing attention to this work that you all are doing and to bring attention to a different way of handling the housing crisis, which is what you all are have teamed up to do. And so this is a slightly different conversation that we're going to have today, but we're still going to get into the meat of what it is that you're all doing and how an ordinary group of human beings have come together to do this extraordinary work. And so the overarching question for this episode is, what does it truly take to create not just affordable housing, but a foundation for generational freedom, dignity, and opportunity, which is exactly what you all are doing. So before we get into it, or as we get into it, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming. Welcome, you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you inviting us to this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get into talking about Community HousingWorks, I'd love to hear a little bit about each of your kind of like your origin, your professional origin story. Like, what is it that led each one of you to have the motivation to do the work that you're doing to support Community HousingWorks and such an incredible cause?
I grew up in a somewhat, rough neighborhood in LA, and I was one of the first ones in my family to graduate college, except for my grandma, who actually went back to college after her kids were fully raised, and she became a teacher. She was my inspiration. But I really saw firsthand a lot of the challenges that that my family, my friends' families um, experienced with opportunity um, to explore uh, different um, different experiences with going to college, with leaving where they grew up. And so when I was younger, my parents really tried to get me involved with, or kept me involved with sports, and I played travel softball. And through that experience, I was able to visit new places, new cities outside of what I knew, and that brought in my perspective.
Mm.
That brought in a lot um, of what I was used to. So I think I take all of that with me professionally, and that is what fuels my passion to be in the nonprofit sector.
Mm.
I love being able to do work that makes an impact. And with Community HousingWorks, with CHW, I feel like I am able to bring my personal experience to the work that I'm doing, to help empower those families to build better futures. So
Yeah, that's
that's a
wonderful.
little of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and how did you wind up? Well, first of all, what do you do for CHW, and how did you wind up there?
Yeah, so I am the VP of Philanthropy and Community Engagement for CHW. So what I do, what my team does, is we focus on all of the philanthropic efforts and do the fundraising to support our resident services and programs that we offer in our CHW communities. And so I actually started in the nonprofit sector right out a little after I graduated from San Diego State. My grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I volunteered at the Alzheimer's Association of San Diego. And so I was doing that for a bit, and a job opened up to help them with their memory walk, with their 5K walk. And I started working with that organization, loved it. I started working with volunteers, and that I think is what really helped me fall in love with the nonprofit sector.
Mm.
I think that volunteers are the key to nonprofits. And so I got a chance to work with so many people who were giving of their time to do so many great things. And since then, I've been in the nonprofit sector. Um, I've had a few different positions before this, but it started with volunteers, and then I love building relationships, and so I easily transitioned into fundraising, and I've been in fundraising for nonprofits ever since.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shannon?
All right. So my name's Shannon Morrison. I'm the Associate Director of Resource Development and Operations at Community HousingWorks. I am part of Alexis's team there. So like she shared, we are focused on philanthropy and fundraising. And I started my career in fundraising in college. I got an internship at an art museum on my college's campus. And I really felt like this was tapping into my natural skill sets, a little bit of event planning, a lot of relationship building, and really just looking for where is that mutually beneficial place that we can come to that will support, my organization and this person I'm speaking with, or a company. A lot of my focus has been on corporate relationships. And so I was recruited to Community Housing Works about 6.5 years ago. And I actually had not heard of Community Housing Works. I am a fourth generation San Diegan, so this is my home. And I was so like inspired when I learned about Community HousingWorks, when I took that first meeting to really learn what CHW does. And it came at a time when I felt like a lot of people that I knew from high school were moving away from San Diego because they couldn't afford to live here. And so it felt very important to me in terms of, you know, if someone considers this their home, I think it's so important for them to be able to stay and to be able to have a place where they can thrive. And what has kept me at CHW for 6 years is just that connection to the mission. I feel like every year I get a chance to meet new people who live in CHW homes who are doing amazing things with their lives after having overcome something, and just hearing what an impact a stable home has made for them, where they're able to make that kind of shift in their mindset to moving to thinking about not just where am I sleeping today? How am I going to pay rent this month? But finally being able to make that shift to what do I want to do with my life? What can I do next? Where can I learn? Where can I grow?
Yeah, it's like moving out of survival mode
Yeah, definitely.
is what I find so interesting and so compelling about what you all are doing. It's helping people to step out of having to survive into the stability and what can come when you have stability. Yeah. Lakeysha?
Hi, my name is Lakeysha, and I'm the Director of Resident Services and Programs here at Community HousingWorks. I have been with the organization for nearly 5 years,
Mm.
and what drew me to Community HousingWorks is that my background is public health, and I just remember being at events and different community advocacy gatherings and rallies, and folks really wanting to make a difference in their community. And they would actually advocate for housing over anything else. I just remember being at an event once where community members, they came to my booth, and I was, at that time, I was teaching about healthy eating as well as the importance of physical activity. And they didn't want any part of that. They wanted me to help them find somewhere to live. And so,
Mm.
with my background with public health as well as community outreach, CHW has really been a place for me to reach out to those that are looking for resources that may not always find them in the community. I spend a lot of time in the community, not only with residents, but also with other partners, really bringing those resources and different levels of expertise within our portfolio to really serve our residents.
Thank you. So I learned about CHW through a friend, Sean Spear, who also is the president and CEO
Mhm.
of CHW. And I was fascinated to hear about this very unique way of responding to the housing crisis. So for those who are like, okay, what are we doing? Can somebody tell me what CHW is? Or who are you all and what do you do?
So CHW, we actually started back in 1988, um, and we were founded from a group of social justice advocates, um, some city leaders who all shared a goal of creating affordable housing, affordable homes for people who need it, for families. And what's really cool is that our first community, Las Casitas, which is in Escondido, is a community that CHW still manages and operates. And so, we were really formed out of the need for the urgent need for affordable housing. Um, and so, what we do is we provide that. We provide the brick and mortar um, um, apartment buildings, but that's just the beginning of the mission. We go beyond that and also offer resident services and programs. that are what we call our 3 pillars, that cover our 3 pillars. So we provide resources and tools that help people with financial well-being, with health and wellness, and something we call next generation success, which focuses on education and career pathways. So that's really what we do. So we are a developer and service provider for residents. And we are right now in 53 communities across California and Texas, serving more than 12,000 residents, Lakeysha.
12,000 plus. And it's funny because we always kind of go back and forth, like, are we at 11,000 or 12? But we recently went over that 12,000 mark. So it's great.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
A big part of our mission is that opportunity begins with a stable home. So like Alexis was sharing, that apartment that we provide, we really do see as just the beginning. And like we were sharing, once people have that stability and safety, we support them with those programs to help them, dream about the future and what could come next.
Hey, it's Lisane. I created Protect Your Peace, a boundaries and accountability workshop, because I know what it's like to feel stretched too thin, and how it feels when you're saying yes to everyone else, but feel like you're disappearing in the process. This workshop is your invitation to pause and to come back to you. In just 2 hours, you'll learn how to set boundaries that reflect your values, protect your energy, and strengthen your voice unapologetically. You'll also learn how to hold yourself accountable in a way that builds self-trust and momentum, not burnout. This is the kind of space I wish I had when I was deep in the cycle of over-responsibility and simply just doing too much. So I created it for you. Join me for Protect Your Peace, live or on demand, and walk away with tools you can use immediately to get back in alignment. Click the link in the show notes to register. You deserve to protect your peace and your power. Tell me a little bit, anyone can answer, like how you're doing that. So talk a little, I know you mentioned briefly the programs, but I fear that that's being missed because it's such a unique and interesting way of providing housing. Can someone explain a little bit more about the programs? What does that mean? So we know you're providing the homes, they're affordable homes, but what is unique about the value proposition that you're providing to your residents?
One of the reasons that CHW stands out so much is because of the services that we provide for our residents. Within those services are also programs, so residents, they could get everything that they need within their community. Under the 3 pillars of resident services that we have, we're addressing youth development, educational opportunities. We have career pathways so that we're opening doors and really exposing residents to different trades, different routes to have a successful life. We also have our after school program as well. So we're creating a pipeline for our kids to really succeed in life. Under the next generation success pillar, the goal of that is really to make sure that residents, when they're on site, they could receive support services that they may not have opportunities to or access to on the outside of our communities. Another pillar that we have is financial well-being. And with this pillar, we're really building residents in the area of their finances. Now, some folks' finances are really personal. Sometimes people, they have they have thoughts around finances, and our team, we're really able to come in and help them. So we're able to go in and build that rapport, build that trust with residents. So we're teaching them how to budget. We're teaching them how to save their money, how to improve their credit score. So they're getting all those services right there within the confines of the community. And our last pillar, which is our health and wellness pillar, we're able to really make an impact and address food insecurity. One of the programs under that pillar that we're really excited about and proud of is our senior food box delivery. So we have staff that actually deliver food boxes for seniors right at their doorsteps. Seniors don't have to walk very far. They don't have to drive across town or drive to another city. What they have is right there in that box. So with these three pillars, it's really, we have been able to really show that there's an impact because all those services are interconnected. You can't have one without the other. And so as we look at those type of wraparound services and what we're really able to help the residents live a really, really productive and successful life, we really are proud of those pillars because, residents, they're able to get supported right where they're at.
Yeah, you should be proud of it because again, there's one thing to offer a space. It may have been Sean, if not, it was one of you, but I heard someone on your team say that part of your mission was to make this the last affordable housing situation within a family's legacy. And I thought that was very, it's ambitious. And also what I really appreciate about it is that it's really about helping those individuals to know what they can do so that they can be out of the affordable housing kind of lane, which is really how you build lasting impact. It's really how you take this incredible work that you're all doing and allow people to practically apply it to their lives. We did a quick like lunch and learn at Hara Hub Carlsbad a few weeks ago, and you brought along a couple of people who actually live within your community and who have experienced the benefits of it. And it was just really wonderful to hear about the really positive impact upon the lives of that particular student who was in the room where, not having to worry about where you're going to live means that you have more time, energy, and your parents have more time, energy, and emotional bandwidth to be able to support you through the different roadmaps that we set out to in doing this work. So what about this work thrills you on a day-to-day basis? Like what feels good about this work that you're doing? And I'd also love to hear about some of the challenges that you're encountering.
What comes to my mind when you say that is we just celebrated our Valor Scholars on Saturday. We had a celebration to celebrate 50 resident scholars that are pursuing continuing education, and CHW invests in them by awarding them $1,000 scholarship to support their education journey. And it's so wonderful to get to meet these individuals and hear what their dreams are and what they are pursuing. The young man who spoke at the event is a first generation Collins student, and he is headed off to Stanford in fall. And he was just talking about how much he wants to help people because of the help that he's received through CHW and through the programs that we offer. And I just love to be able to hear that and to kind of see that ripple effect. I feel like we're helping people not just within the small apartment community, but then how those people are affecting change in their broader community is something that really motivates me and inspires me.
Yeah, because when you're treated with compassion, it helps you to be a more compassionate person. in the world, you know? And what about for you other ladies?
I would say Valor is one of the best events we have, and it's so great to see all of our scholarship recipients and hear what they're doing. But another thing that excites me is what we're doing with our older adults programs. Earlier, actually in December, we were able to open up our first computer lab, and one of our CHW senior apartments through partnership with one of our local corporate partners, and it was really amazing to see the excitement around this, and the work that we were able to do to help bridge the digital divide that seniors are facing.
Mm.
And along with that, we just didn't open up the computer lab. That also came with digital literacy workshops and coaching to help those older adults learn how to use the computers. And I think that is really important. It's important work, and it helps um, to expose them to new things,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. Lakeysha?
So this work is very motivating, invigorating for me personally. We have one of the examples that I could share is that we have a resident that's involved in one of our programs called the Resident Leadership Academy. And it was really his way and others' way as well to not only do work within the community, but also the surrounding communities as well. And he worked on a project to work with public transportation and some of our other partners like Circulate San Diego to make modifications to the traffic lights. There were a lot of uneven sidewalks, bumpy streets, and he was able to actually present at one of the city council meetings.
Mm.
And so that type of work, that advocacy and what it takes to really speak upon those problems, that really motivates me to continue to provide the services, provide the roadmap to having a really successful life because, that resident in particular and many other residents, I feel like we get the opportunity to give them a voice that they may not ever recognize or known that they've had before. And so when I think about just that situation, there are other opportunities for us to create those leaders from within because we're impacting the lives of residents where they're being committed to civic service, outreach, them reaching out to the mayor of the city and other political figures to really see those changes within the community. And that just doesn't happen by happenstance. It's intentional work, it's partnerships, it's collaboration, it's really building residents to speak, to do things that they've never done before. And so when I think of that side of my job and that side of my work, it's really inspiring, and we're seeing a different generation even come behind, those forerunners, those that may have gone before us, and to be able to really help them and pull them up and encourage them is really a great thing. And then I'm excited about that part of the job.
That's wonderful. Before we move into, I'd love to know about some of the collaborations that you have and the kind of partnerships that you're looking for. I did want to just mention one thing that no one mentioned yet, and that is that another unique aspect of this nonprofit's work is that you set up this affordable housing right in great neighborhoods. So can someone speak to that?
I can speak to some of the partnerships that we have. So within our portfolio, we have a lot of communities that require special attention. And so with those partnerships, we really bring folks on that could address that level of expertise that we need within our portfolio. On the other side of that, we work with other nonprofits that provide food, for example, the San Diego Food Bank. And with that partnership, they're able to provide free food for our residents. We also work with after school programs like the Boys and Girls Club to support our after school programs. So these partnerships, they're they're really they really help us meet a need that we may not meet alone, right? It takes a community. And so with us, we're able to really reach out and get that support that we need to serve our residents in the areas that they need.
Mm. And what kind of partnerships are you all looking for?
We are looking for partnerships that could help us with funding a lot. So we look to partner with companies who can provide maybe sponsorships to help us provide the services and programs across our communities. We're also looking for partnerships with other local nonprofits and organizations who are doing similar work. Because, I think that together, if we can collaborate, we can make a larger impact than on our own.
Yeah.
So we are open to working with other local organizations like that.
Incredible. And then can someone speak to, again, one of the things that I think is why do you choose to have these developments within any neighborhood, USA, like any neighborhood in San Diego?
So we do have an acquisitions team as a part of our housing and real estate development team, and they are always on the lookout for any kind of opportunities that are out there for our communities. And different parcels have different requirements, but something that they're always looking for is being able to put a CHW community in what you're talking about, Lisane, we call a high resource area. And so it is so amazing to be able to offer that to residents. Our team is always looking for close to public transportation, close to libraries, close to grocery stores, because a lot of residents come to us not having their own car. And so that is something that's important when they're kind of looking to tick all the boxes of what are we looking for.
The beauty about the work that we do here at Community HousingWorks is that we're all over San Diego. I mean, we cover just about every region. And within those regions, we're also able to get the support that we need from external partners, external donors, and different stakeholders as well.
And I know you have had some experience with our Carlsbad community, but another community that comes to my mind is in Poway. And we had a resident come to one of our events this year he's a recent college graduate, but he spoke about his time in high school and being in that community in Poway and how that exposure to a higher resourced community really changed his his trajectory. His friends in high school had parents who had careers he had never thought of. And they were able to be a resource for him for applying to college and things that he just did not know or was not aware of growing up low income before moving to that community.
I think that that's part of the value proposition is that when you are in that situation, and people get into that situation a variety of ways. And the truth of the matter is that wages are not matching housing and living costs. They just are not. And so what that means is that there are people who wind up really struggling within that very real challenge and mismatch here in the world. And so having the ability to feel that even in those circumstances, or while in those circumstances, that you don't have to be completely isolated into where you have the ability to actually be around, like you mentioned, high resource areas, where the benefits of that are that you get to interact with people who can help you to and help your family to move out of those circumstances into a better place is part of it, right? It's kind of like some of those benefits that may not be present right off the bat, but it's part of the impact of really helping families to move out of that situation. All right, can we talk a moment about setting the vibe? If you're anything like me, your space needs to feel good in order for you to feel good. And that's why I created the Shaping Freedom line of candles. It's not just about ambiance, but really about how you align yourself internally. These are more than just candles. They shift your energy. Whether you're journaling, meditating, working out, or just taking a moment for yourself, these scents are curated to ground you, lift you up, and bring you back home to yourself. They also have an 80-hour burn time and scents that are designed to evoke feelings of alignment and internal congruency. And we can all use that. Go to shop.shapingfreedom.com and check them out. Find the one that speaks to your spirit, or buy all 4 and let them burn with intention. So what kind of challenges are you all facing? And again, this is, like I said, great work. Those who are listening, I encourage you to look up Community HousingWorks, CHW, to see what they're doing and to see what they're up to, and to consider how you might be able to help or contribute or partner in whatever way is mutually beneficial. But what are some of the challenges? Because this is feel good work and all of that. But again, you're meeting a need. You're meeting a very, very real need that impacts human beings, families, Americans living in this country right now. What are the challenges and how are you moving through them?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is funding for our services and programs. The cost to provide this is getting more expensive
Yep.
every year.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we do have a funding gap. So, on our development side, on the housing side, we do have some revenue coming in, but that doesn't cover everything that we are doing across our communities. And as I said before, we look for partners. And so we do get a lot of philanthropic support from foundations through grants. But the focus of those foundations changes from year to year. So
Mm-hmm.
some years we're eligible, some years we're not. We have corporate support, but sometimes their budgets shift from year to year. We do have individual donors, but it's an uncertain time right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so we are looking to expand our fundraising efforts. And so it is a real challenge because we want to not only sustain the programs and services that we are offering now, but we're also hoping to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And as our portfolio grows and we acquire new apartments as we build them, we're going to need to provide more services.
Yeah.
So that has been something weighing heavily on us. And so there's a lot of focus and work going into inviting new people to learn about CHW and getting them engaged and just generating awareness about CHW and the work that we're doing.
Yeah. And you're in San Diego exclusively, or where else are you?
So our headquarters is in San Diego, but we have communities all through California, in Central California and in Northern California. And we've even ventured into Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot right now in the pipeline for, I would say, a lot for Northern California at this time. But we, as Lakeysha said too, we are really heavily in San Diego, but we are growing.
And outside of just the very real, let's just put it on the table, as you mentioned, you're fundraising and you all are doing this work. And I've seen one community in particular, in San Marcos, I think it was. And it's really lovely. It's, the way that you all are treating this service that you're providing is with such dignity and respect and care and compassion for the folks that are utilizing your services. How, number one, the ways that people can help is give some money if you have it, if you can. I know that many companies offer some kind of corporate gift giving package type thing. And so if you are in a position to have a company that's offering, that supports their employees through some kind of corporate gift giving and matching, please speak with them and consider CHW in your thoughts about where you want to contribute, because it's an organization that is walking the talk and doing the work and doing it in a way, again, that is really different and unique and helpful to people and to generations of people. What else can people do? How else can they help?
Speaking of those like company relationships, if you work for a company that hosts lunch and learns, we would love the opportunity to come and speak to your team and talk about what we do. Same with if you have a connection to a community group, we would love the invitation to come and introduce ourselves and talk about that impact that we're having, potentially right in your own community.
And volunteering. We are always looking for volunteers on site to help with projects like community gardens. We have events throughout the year that we need help with. We have a need for folks who are interested in helping with resume building, with helping us lead some financial workshops. So we have a lot of different ways to get involved, volunteering, and also it's as easy as helping to share our story, to generate awareness. Like if you follow us on social media, repost, share. That is a great way to help support CHW.
Yeah, and that's an easy thing. It costs
Mm-hmm.
a second. It costs a second to just take something and post it and share it.
To remedy some of those challenges that folks are talking about, just not within CHW, but affordable developers as a whole, I think Community HousingWorks, we're doing a really good job with identifying those areas that need assistance, identifying spaces where we could really build upon and house folks. I talk to people all the time and they're asking about affordable housing. We actually have a lot of waiting lists. So folks they want to sign up, but the waiting list is some are closed, some are non-existent. So I think the work that Community HousingWorks is doing is really building more, not only in San Diego, but within California, Los Angeles, Fresno, all those different places.
Mm-hmm. And I know that there's a little bit of the work that you all are doing that is around the different policies that you're working within. What kind of policy changes are you working to get resolved or repaired?
Yeah, so we have one of the things that we do really well is connect our residents to housing advocacy groups. And one group in particular, we're really training residents how to speak up, for example, in Sacramento, about housing bills and housing policies that may affect not only affordable housing, but folks that are facing eviction and homelessness and different things like that. So we do a lot of work around advocacy in a way that we're empowering residents and letting them know, like, hey, you also can speak about this, and this is how you can get there. We have a success story where one of our residents actually ran for office. They didn't make it, but they're still, in the community. They're still in the community sharing their story and, bringing others along with that lived experience. And they travel to Sacramento. They attend policy meetings. They go to city council meetings as well. So a lot of the policies that we're working with residents is really connecting them to other advocacy groups to really make that difference and make that change within their community.
Great. So is there any kind of last word that anyone else has to help people to understand what you're doing and to understand what's really at stake here and how they can help?
I think it's important for people to understand that affordable housing is for families, for people who who are working, who are working multiple jobs, who are trying to keep up with the rising cost of rents throughout California. It's people who are trying to make it. It's and I think that a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand who our residents are.
Yeah.
They could be anybody. They could be, former lawyers. It's anybody. And the work that we are doing, which has been said multiple times, is not just providing them with the opportunity to have a stable home. It's so much more. Providing them the resources that they need to not just survive, but to thrive.
Yeah.
So I think that it is important for people to understand that CHW is working to, to provide these important tools to people.
I commend you all under the leadership of Sean Spear, who I'll throw in there. I commend you for doing this great work. Anyone who is on the social media platforms or anywhere else, this conversation about wages, about costs, housing and living costs outrunning wages is something that if you tune in for 2 seconds to any conversation anywhere, it is a problem that we're having in this country. It's a problem that we're having in California as well. And it is something that we have to find ways to resolve. We have to find ways to resolve. There was a time where a person could get out of their home and go to school and leave, graduate from college and make enough money, find a job to make enough that would pay them enough money to be able to cover their rent. That is not happening at the level that it was happening before. This is a very real problem. This is not about feeling sorry for people who are not working or people who are not wanting to contribute. This is a group of people and an organization that has decided to not just talk about a problem that we have in this country, but to actually put their foot on the pedal, to actually drive change, to change things, to help these people first of all, and to help these families, and to also do their part to contribute. So we need more of this. We need to resolve the overarching problem of the gap for sure. And while we're doing that, there are human beings who are needing the support. And so I commend you all for doing this work, Community HousingWorks. Thank you so much for doing it. We will include some kind of fundraising opportunity thing for those folks who want to contribute, I encourage you to go to the CHW website. What is the URL? Can someone share that with me?
The website is www.chworks.org.
Okay. All right.
And then another way that people could get involved if they so choose, we have our annual fundraising gala on Thursday, September 25th. And we have information on our website about sponsoring, purchasing a ticket, or donating auction items to that event as well. All proceeds will support the programs that we talked about today.
Yeah. So we'll put that information also into the show notes. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do something a little bit different than I usually do on this show. And thank you for allowing me the gift and the honor of using this platform to share the story of this organization and this incredible work that you're doing. It's appreciated. Just thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.